What's going on, guys? If you're new to Denver or you're coming to visit, in this video, I'm going to share a bunch of the resources that I use to figure out just what's happening in and around the city. If you're new to my channel, I'm Dave and I help locals and visitors find places to eat and things to do in and around Denver, and thanks for checking out this video. I already have a few videos with specific suggestions of things to do when you're in Denver, but you know what they say, if you teach a man to fish, you better hope that he likes fish. And yes, you could spend hours and hours Googling to nowhere trying to find the most underground, secret, crazy things to do in the city, but sometimes you just want some websites to bookmark, things to subscribe to, and places to check out to find plans for your weekend. I feel like I find fun stuff to do pretty much every weekend in Denver, so at the very least, I'm hoping that this video will help you upgrade your time in Denver. And I know that there's probably a good chance that you're looking for something to do right now, so let's get right into this video. Okay, let's start with food, and one of my go-to resources to find out what's new in Denver, it's Westword's restaurants opening and closing list. In this weekly list that you can find online for free, Westword covers pretty much every restaurant that's opening and that's saying goodbye that week. If you're like me and you like just trying anything and everything that's new, and you just kind of like knowing what's going on in your city, this list can be incredibly helpful for you. And while most people are going to check out this list for more local vibes and try to find out what new restaurants are opening, they actually also cover big chains that are moving into Colorado, which is pretty much happening all the time right now. So if you're coming from another state, maybe you'll find that one of your favorites from your hometown is actually moving into Colorado. So if you're into food and you aren't already checking that opening and closing list, definitely add it to your list. And I know that social media is kind of getting less and less cool by the day, but I lurk in the Denver Foodies group on Facebook, and I'm also part of the Crazy Hungry Asians of Colorado group on Facebook as well. If you're into Asian food, that's a great group to check out. While the Denver Foodies group isn't necessarily really helpful to learn about new restaurants, you have that Westword list for that, it is a good way to get a wide range of opinions of what is the best insert genre here restaurant in the area. You'll definitely find that there are people's taste buds that you disagree with there, but you'll also get a lot of really solid opinions, and there are years and years of posts that you can search for if you're looking for sushi or a steakhouse or Mexican food. You'll find a bunch of opinions of what people's favorites are in and around Denver. For the Crazy Hungry Asians of Colorado group, these guys are really on it when restaurants are opening, closing, or changing in and around the city. It can be really helpful. One example of it was Tiger Sugar, that is a boba shop that opened up in Aurora. It has been really busy from day zero, and I would credit a solid amount of it to this Facebook group. If you're a little bit more visual and you prefer Instagram over Facebook, and I don't blame you, definitely follow Molly Martin at MollyDBU. She's the food and drink editor at Westword, and she's always posting awesome places to check out. Not all of them are brand new, but you'll definitely get some great ideas from her feed. Also, Denver Food Scene is one of the most popular Instagram accounts covering the Denver area, and their food photography is really on point. Give them both a follow and let them know that I sent you there. This is that part in the video where I ask you to give it a like if you're enjoying what you're seeing. When you're a local YouTuber like me, it really helps this video get seen by more people. So thanks so much for doing it, and now back to the video. When you're looking for bigger things to do, events and restaurant openings that your friends might not be aware of, I do check out the No in the Denver Post, and I also look at Thrillist Everything Fun to Do in Denver This Weekend list, and they cover a lot of the larger events that are happening around the city. While the No in the Denver Post can be hit or miss because the staff at the Denver Post is pretty much getting smaller by the day, so the coverage is not as good as it was before, I do check out the food and drink sections along with the culture sections when I'm looking for different things to do. With these resources, I've ended up at some pretty cool art exhibitions, checked out a few different farmers markets, found some restaurants and special events that I otherwise wouldn't have known about, so they are really helpful. You won't necessarily find the most underground, gritty, grimy things from either of these sources, but they do provide a good amount of variety, and they're not going to miss the big things. This next one I don't use as much, but people obviously like to do stuff for free or for cheap, so this can be a good resource for that. And if you're one of those people, Mile High on the Cheap has got you covered. And I do have one small caveat, is that a lot of the things that they list are just listed all the time because they're just generally free, but there are so many free activities that they list that it's highly unlikely that you've done all of them. From free concerts and tours to farmers markets and community type events, there's a lot of variety in this list, and even if you've lived in Denver for a long time, there's a good chance that you can find something new for cheap. Next, I do subscribe to 3 different newsletters that come into my inbox pretty much every day: CityCast Denver, Axios Denver, and Westword's Food and Drink newsletter. Between these 3, they're not only a good way to keep up with what's going on in the city news-wise, they also usually have suggestions for activities and places to eat over the weekend. With these 3 newsletters, I find a lot of the more unusual events and activities that are happening in the city. These are just things that my friends have no idea are happening, and it's kind of cool to be in the know in that way. It takes a lot of work off of me because I can check these newsletters usually on Fridays and get some good ideas for what to do that weekend. And one of the cool parts about getting all 3 of these newsletters is that they generally cover different things. So while one might be letting you know about a breakdancing competition, another might let you know about some bizarre concert, and another one will let you know about late night roller skating that's going on in Denver, and that's pretty cool to get that type of variety. I can't really say which one is most valuable that when it comes to this, but you can find a bunch of good ideas from these newsletters. And this next one isn't necessarily timely, but if you live in Denver and you don't get the Denver Passbook every year, I really think that you should if you're a food person. The Passbook offers 2-for-1 deals either on drinks or food, usually food, that really covers the mid-tier of the city really, really well. You won't necessarily find the most expensive or coolest restaurants in the Passbook, but you will find places that you would happily go to and good places to take your friend. Because there are so many restaurants in the Passbook, you are guaranteed to find multiple places that you've never tried before, and you can eat at them for, roughly 50% of the cost that you normally would as long as you bring a friend. I do consider this a really good Denver life hack when you are treating a friend who's coming to visit, but you go to a place that's in the Passbook and, their meal will be free, you pay for yours, and they are really happy because it felt like you spent money on them. The Passbook generally comes out around midsummer, and the deals go until the following October or November-ish time frame. And usually when they go on sale, they do a lot of big discounts, or also 2-for-1s to buy the Passbook. So you can go in on it with a friend or maybe a spouse or something like that and figure out how you can save money to get the Passbook so that you can save money when you're going out. And this next one is really specific, but we do have a 2-year-old, so we subscribe to the newsletter for 4 Mile Historic Park in Denver. They do a lot of events in this park, like an Easter egg hunt and a pumpkin patch and that kind of, cute stuff where you take pictures of your kids running around. And so while this isn't a general newsletter like some of the other ones I mentioned in this video, if you do have small kids and you want to be able to go to some of those events that people are posting on Instagram and stuff, it's a good idea to get on their newsletter list so that you can get tickets before they sell out. While I could keep going, chances are you've got a weekend to plan and things to do, but I hope that these resources gave you some ideas of other ways that you can find things to do in Denver. Of course, if you learned something new from this video, please give it a like or share it with that friend who's always extremely unhelpful when you're trying to plan your weekend. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you out in Denver.